Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, we have season 3, episode 3 of Ready to Love. The men and the women are now at the resort. They've already met each other, and now it is time to date. Will they kiss? Will they hug? Will they go to each other's rooms? We don't know. Stay tuned. I give a recap of the entire episode with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review and discussion questions at the end. No need to dig around. I have all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. Breathe, take a break. Let's have a little fun. Okay, you guys, let's take a break from the election. Okay, let's just not think about it for a good second. Okay, that's all coming up next. Woo! So it's a beautiful day in the resort neighborhood. The sun is out and everyone's getting ready to meet and greet everyone, just blending in, coming into the lounge area. And Raymond expressed his concerns. He's like, I'm the oldest person here. I'm 52 and I just got this feeling that everybody's just turned off because I have 5 kids. So I don't know, maybe I just need to not focus on that. Try to be a little bit more open to get to know everybody. So we'll see how this goes. Raymond starts to speak with NYYA, and he's just like, it's really good that everybody's getting to know one another. And I'm older. I'm the oldest person here. She's like, well, how old are you? And he's like, I'm 52. She's like, that's kind of up there. He's like, yeah. And also everybody's, kind of turned off because I have kids. And she's like, well, how many kids do you have? And he's like, I have 5 children. And she's like, oh, Lord, well, you know how to make them. And she literally walks off, leaving poor Raymond there by himself like he's talking to a wall and he wasn't talking to anyone in the first place. It was quite rude, but what can I say? We then have Tommy enter the room. They share a few laughs and they talk about how they like his outfit, and he's laughing and joking with everyone, and he's just like, hey, well, I'm here to give some news that I know you are meeting and greeting each other. We're starting this dating process, but I want to let you know all this time is very, very valuable. Get to know one another, because each week the ball is in the guys' court or the women's court. The women can decide who's eliminated, and then the following week, the men can decide who's eliminated. And this week, it's up to the ladies. So keep in mind that 2 of you are going home. Joy and Jay flirt, complimenting each other, and Jay compliments her swag, saying, oh, I noticed that you look nice and I love your boots. And she's just like, well, I'm confident in my swag, and you got to be confident in your swag. And they are just really, really digging each other, and they are really flirting, and Joy is just giving that meow, meow flirting that all guys like. We then see Adriana and Rashid. They start to flirt a little bit, and she's just like, I never really learned how to play pool. And he's just like, well, I can teach you. So he's just really excited to show her how. And Joy and Jay notice from afar, and Joy, she's cracking up Jay, telling him, oh, okay, well, she's showing him a little something. Adriana continues to flirt with Rashid, and she is really acting like a damsel in distress. Oh, can you show me? Oh, I can't feel you completely. You might want to get a little closer. Show me how to hold the stick. And Joy jokes with Jay and says, okay, well, just put your back into it then, making Jay almost spit out his drink. And she is really cracking him up, and he's loving every moment of it. KRIS tells NYYA, I'm really, really digging our energy, and I'm just loving the time that we talked. The first day we got to know each other, and I would really, really, really like to go out on a date with you and let's spend some time. And NYYA's just like, I think that would be great. I think that would be wonderful. So you really start to see them talk, and they're not just talking and flirting anymore. They're talking about going out on a date and just being away from everybody, which is great. On a side note to production, KRIS says, well, NYYA's not the typical woman I would date, but I'm really open to her and I'm really digging her energy, so we'll see how this goes. Raymond and Simone, they take a minute to get to know one another. And Simone says on her production clip that she felt very awkward and just weird after she was in the bottom two. And she learned that some of the guys thought that she came off very guarded. And now she needs to be more open. So she's going to work on that and share more. Raymond asked her if she would like to go on a group date, and she accepts. He feels that if it's more people around, then maybe there won't be so much pressure for everything to be perfect. Brian makes an announcement that, hey, there's a pool party later on, and hey, women, if you have a swimsuit that rhymes with song, feel free to wear that. And they all share a nice laugh. We then have NYYA and KRIS. They get ready for their day. They're looking fun and fit. The sun is popping off of that melanin, looking great, and they're gonna share a moment just on the water to sit and talk. And NYYA says right off the bat that she's just digging the day and loving his energy. And as they go out there, they share some of the same statements, is that God is great and look at this beautiful water and the sun and the trees. And they both agree that this nature and vibing is just something wonderful, and they just are just eating it up. We then see that Brian talks about his abstinence to everybody. You know, they're at the table and he's saying, hey, you know, it's difficult for me. You know, the fellas may laugh at me, but I'm really just thinking that I should just practice more and focus on the person I'm getting to know. And yeah, it's difficult. I have my needs, but it really doesn't matter when you're getting to know somebody, and it takes the complexity out of getting to know somebody. And he even says that he purged a lot of stuff out of his phone, any temptations, any women, any friends that he might have had that are getting his way of getting to him to enjoy this experience. And David says that he agrees that, hey, I had to do the same thing and I'm so ready for this and I just want to be clear-headed. But Simone doesn't look like she's too convinced. She's looking at everybody at the table like, is everybody believing this guy? And she's just really not digging it. And her as a lawyer, she probably can sense some Sly Fox issues going on. We see that Alex digs Brian and everything that he's saying, because you got to remember that's one of the things that's important to her. Remaining abstinent and not bringing that into getting to know one another. So KRIS, he feels that he wants to stay as focused as possible, and he expresses that he wanted to kiss her. He wanted to kiss NYYA, but he didn't want to seem too thirsty, and he just wanted to relax and take it slowly into getting to know her. He says that also, what do you feel about kids? And NYYA says, I love kids. I think they're wonderful. I'm open to have kids in the future. And KRIS says, that's great because I want at least 3. So they click on that. NYYA loves the date and thanks him for a wonderful day. And she's just engulfed in the fact that he was such a gentleman. She also says directly to him, you know, I really wanted to kiss you or hug you, but, you know, let's just do a little hug, because she's very vocal about how she felt in that moment. So later on in the day, we have Raymond, Simone, Joy and Jay, David and Alicia. They're out on this group date, and they're just going to have a little bit to eat and a little bit to drink while they get to know each other. Simone says, wow, you know, this experience is just very, very interesting. You know, you have to be open. And she says that she was really sad about learning that she was in the bottom too, because she really want to get to know everybody. And she also tells David, you know, you were on my top 2, but you know, you just weren't giving me those vibes. And David says, well, I didn't get that vibe from you at all. You didn't show any interest. You seemed very harsh to me. And Alicia says, well, wait a minute, David, I felt that same way about you. When I tried to get to know you, you seemed very offish. And David is just like, you know, we're here and I thought that we would have more time. I mean, it's only day 2, so I just didn't want to come off like I was just all up on everybody. And Joy says, well, you know what? Time is very valuable here. And even I think you're a bit of a mystery man. I mean, you came here with your hat on and your glasses and we didn't know what to think of you. And David says, well, you know, you had, and Joy is just like, whoa, your hand's in my face. And David is like, now look, my finger was way over here. Your head is way over there and my finger's way over here. My finger's not in your face. But Joyce says that it's very disrespectful and she didn't like it. She was just insulted by the action. But David seemed kind of confused about why she got so amped up. And, you know, it's kind of obvious that he didn't mean to put his finger in her face, but I guess it's all in how you see it. Simone says, you know, David, You and I have a lot in common because it seems like you're guarded and you're viewed to be that way, but I'm the same way. I'm vulnerable and I have to stay guarded because I'm a black woman, I'm a lawyer, and I can't let my guard down because if you're a lawyer, you can't do that. Then you won't be a good lawyer and everybody shares a good laugh. And she's like, and when I try to trust somebody, it feels weird to me because that's not the norm to me to let my guard down. It's a practice that I really have to get used to. And she shares a story to kind of let everybody know where she's coming from. She's just like, well, for example, I have my moments of success or I'm with somebody. And there was one time where I had this article that was published and it was in a really, really good publishing. And I shared that information with my dad and he was just like, well, I read the article, you missed this period here. And she's just like, she's always had that comparison with people that she's dated, always trying to go above and beyond to prove her love, to prove her dedication, to prove everything. And it's just, when she lets her guard down, she gets disappointed and she noticed that this is something that she has to stop, this lawyer vibe and not really letting her guard down to get to know everybody. And you could tell she's getting teared up. You can tell she has those emotions that she's feeling. And everybody's just like, well, you're doing a good job. Kudos, because you're opening up now. You're letting us get to know you, and it's actually refreshing because we're finally being able to see you. And you seem like you have this harsh exterior. So they're loosening up, and Simone is loosening up, and everybody's sharing their opinions. And Alicia explains why she was pushed away from Raymond, and she's like, Raymond, I'm interested in you, but I mean, be real, it's because of your age. And two, I'm high maintenance. And I feel that nobody with 5 kids can afford me and my kids. I mean, I'm just going to be real with you. Everybody then learns that he has 5 children with 4 different women. And Raymond says, I'm really not looking for love. I just want to share love. There's a big difference. I don't feel like there's this big rush. Just speaking about marriage, I think we should just let things go with the flow. And everybody's kind of giving him that look like, okay, don't know why you're here. And Simone breaks the ice with a little joke and says, well, clearly you're not stingy with your penis. And that brings everybody a good laugh because, he's having a hard time sharing love. But she's saying, well, you're not having a hard time sharing everything else. It's now later on in the day and everybody's ready for the pool party. And Brian says, I really wanted us to have fun at the pool party because, a date is one thing, but at the pool, you're kicking up. There's not that much pressure. Everybody can have fun. So he's like, and while we're at the pool, we should just have a few contests and have fun. And Shay says, well, you know what? The guys should have a push-up contest. But while you're having a push-up contest, y'all got to have y'all shirts off. So all the guys start to take off their shirts. And Winter is just like, wait a minute. When Anthony took his shirt off, I was just really, really surprised. I didn't know he was working with all of that. And she tells Anthony, look, I didn't know you was working with all that. And just as a little kiki, a little joke, Anthony says to Winter, well, surprise. And he shows her his chest and she is loving every minute of it, honey. And he's flexing. So a lot of the guys, they start to do some push-ups. And after they do some push-ups and share some jokes, Rashid says to all the ladies, well, y'all got us over here doing our push-ups and taking our shirts off, but a lot of y'all ladies, y'all still got y'all cover-ups on. But unfortunately, after he says that, it's super quiet and you can hear a pin drop. And it kind of made the ladies feel uncomfortable. Denise says that she thinks Rashid is a narcissist and reminds her of somebody that she used to date. And she's just so upset about that. You can see it in her body language. She's expressing that to the production. And she's just not really clicking it and having it with Rashid. So we know where she stands on that. But some of the women take off their cover-ups, and Winter, she's not shy at all. She takes hers off. Later on that evening, it's more mingle time. You got Denise and Kelfani, they're sharing a moment. And he's letting her know that, what are some of your goals for the future? What are some things that you have in mind that you want to do? And Denise says, I'm really interested in those projects where they go to different neighborhoods and they provide fresh food by having farms in the neighborhood. So I think that's just really, really cool. And he says, that's just great. But you're asking for that. And if that happens in your life, be ready for it, because when it comes, it's going to come. And she says, I really appreciate you telling me that. That's realness. I appreciate that. And he's just like, yeah, that's the truth. You say you want something, and when it comes, just be ready. And Denise is really feeling him. And Kelfani says, I'm really digging Denise, and I really dig her energy. It's just been popping since day one. Alicia and David, they spend some time to play pool. And as they're playing pool, Alicia says, are you controlling? Do you see yourself controlling the household, like paying for everything? And David says, yeah, if I'm the man of the house, I have to have some control. Yeah, I'm going to be paying for everything. I would be the lead of the house. But then David says, you know what? But say, for instance, you and I are together. If we're together and I'm with you, I shouldn't have to, you got 2 kids and I don't have any kids. I don't think I should be paying for everything by myself. And Alicia feels that, well, he should. He should understand that if you're with me, you're going to pay for everything and you're going to take care of my kids. I'm high maintenance. You get me, you get the whole package. So you pay for me, you pay for my kids. I don't think that's what David meant, but okay. You then see several montage clips of Rashid and other people getting together, Edwin and Winter, Jay and Joy spending more quality time with each other, but we don't really hear any monologues back and forth. We really don't know what they're saying. We just see them kind of enjoying the day. The next day, Rashid wants to get people together so they can have some competitive time to play a game, to get to know one another. And it's this Jenga game to where when you pull out a piece, there's a question on it. You have to read it to everybody else and you answer it. So not only are you being competitive, but you're getting to know one another. So then to Anthony, he pulls out a piece and it says, well, say who's the best looking person here. And to not make people feel uncomfortable, he says, well, you know what? I'm just going to say me. And everybody shares a nice little tiki and understands that he didn't want to put anybody on the spot. We then see that Rashid gets a piece and it says, ask someone for a kiss. And he goes to Adriana and they share a little kiss and they both loved it. And she makes it known that, ooh, that was great. And that made me take my flip-flops off. Brian then gets a truth or dare question and he dares Alex to give him a kiss. She's shy at first, but then she puts her guard down and they go all in and they share their moment. They have a kiss. Raymond and Adriana talk and he's really digging her. He's really feeling her and wants to talk to her more. And she feels the same way. And he tells her he can't specify what he wants in a relationship because he just wants to let things flow. When you start categorizing things, he feels that there's just a lot of pressure. And he doesn't want to focus on marriage or future. Later on, the ladies meet with Tommy to give their final notes of the guys so far. And Alex is feeling Brian, and she even blushes about it. And they make it known, girl, you blushing, you really do like Brian. Joy is feeling Kelfani and Jay. And Winter says that she's feeling Jay and Anthony. And Denise is feeling Anthony L. Kelfani. Adriana says, well, Rashid is my man. And everybody starts to laugh and to kiki about it. But Denise, clearly her feathers are ruffled and she seems upset. She's turning her head to the side. She's looking at everybody like, why are you laughing? And it's very evident from previous interactions that she's not feeling Rashid. And it's all over her face. And Adriana says, well, we had this connection and I'm also feeling the other guy, Kelfani. And NYYA says that she's feeling amazing about KRIS because that was the best date that she's ever been on. So he has big cool points with her. And she's also not feeling Raymond. And Alex says, Raymond is cool, but it's just the age gap for me. I don't have a problem with everything else. And Tommy says to Adriana, well, what is it about Raymond? Like, what's going on? And she's like, well, he's a catch to me, but he's unclear about what he wants. And if you really can't tell me what you want, I don't think we're going to really vibe. Alicia says she's not feeling David based upon the conversation that they had about kids and everything else. And Joy isn't feeling David either after she learned about what he told Alicia. Then we have this very, very interesting moment with Denise. Denise says, well, I'm not feeling Rashid because, I recognize a narcissist when I see one. I used to date one. He's, this frat guy. He's light-skinned. He's tall. And, he likes luxury this and luxury that. I mean, I see it, okay? Y'all don't see it, but I see this is the kind of guy that he is. And Adriana says to production, wait, that's not the definition of a narcissist. What do you mean? I know the definition, and that's not it. And Adriana says to Denise, well, I didn't get that vibe from him. And Denise says, well, men will try who they think they can, right? And Adriana says to production, I acted like I didn't hear that, but I did. And some other ladies aren't feeling Rashid either, but Adriana says, well, I'm digging him, so, it is what it is. Tommy says, well, all of you have to speak with certain men to let them know if you're feeling them, if you're not feeling them, and also one last time to share maybe some details with them to help them out, what the ladies are saying, just so maybe they can take that under consideration and maybe it will help them with other women. But also, some of you will also be delivering the news about elimination. So we have Adriana is speaking with Raymond. Denise is speaking with David, and we have Winter who's speaking with Rashid. Winter tells Rashid, we feel the women that we're talking to your representative. We're not speaking with the real you. And maybe you should consider to let your guard down, maybe kind of let us know the real you. But that's kind of the way we feeling and what the ladies have been saying. Denise speaks with David and says, you know what? The women feel that the statement that you made earlier really isn't all that great. And we feel that if you're with a woman, you should pay for her and her kids because, the kids come with the mom. And David's just like, well, that came out wrong. And, when you love someone and I'm taking care of them, of course I'm going to take. And Denise keeps cutting him off. He can't even get a word in. He can't even speak. He can't even make his statement clear. And she's just telling him, cutting him off. Well, that's not what you said. That's not what you said. And you could tell that David is just like, wow, like I can't even get a moment in to talk. We then see Adriana. She's speaking with Raymond and she's like, Raymond, you're such a good guy. You're great and everything. But a lot of women feel that it's not your age or anything. It's the kid situation. And a lot of women feel that, maybe they can't really share you and love you the way that you want because you can't express how you feel and what you really want. We're here for love and you're saying that you don't want to be married, but let things flow. It's just this disconnect and women are feeling like they really can't connect with you. And Raymond is just like, I already see where you're going. I already see where this is going. And you could tell Adriana is just trying to, just tell him things lightly. And he's like, it's okay. And she says, well, the ladies feel you're not ready to love. And we see Raymond is eliminated. We then see that Winter's talking to Rashid and she's like, even though the women feel that we're meeting your representative, we really want to get to know you more and maybe you can open up. And the ladies have decided to let you stay. So we see that Rashid is staying. We then go to Denise and David, and Denise still on the verge of not letting David explain himself. And she says, well, you know what? The ladies have decided that you're not ready to love and it's your time to go. Peace, King. And it's just really, really rude. And it's just the way she told him was just like, wow, Denise, my goodness. David says to production that he can't stand it. He has to go home so early. But then he gives Denise a hug and wishes her the best and shakes her hand. And also Raymond did the same thing with Adriana, saying, I wish everybody the best and nothing but love. But what's also interesting is as David is walking away, Denise is saying, oh, watch yourself. Oh, all right, and it's just like, wow, I can't believe it. So we have the end of the episode with David and Raymond being eliminated. And that is the end of the episode.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you saw from the last review, a lot of us estimated that Raymond would be going home, and he did. And, I really don't even think it was about the kids or anything like that. His first impression was just kind of off. He was name dropping. He was saying he was a musician. He was saying he's been all over the world, as if that was supposed to be a panty dropper. And it really backfired on him, because a lot of people are there with kids, married, divorced, whatever the situation may be. And it's just, in his situation, that was just a cherry on the top to just say, really not interested in this guy, right? I'm really disappointed that David went home, because if you watch the last episodes, the last few reviews that I did, I was really feeling David, because I'm a country girl, and I could tell that he's a guy that's just very demanding. He wants people to just see his side and how he feels. And I don't think people were really used to that true Southern, let a man speak, let a man be kind of aura he was bringing to the table. The reason why I say that is I think David and Simone actually would have been a really good match. Sometimes you have to have somebody that counterbalances you, because David seemed like he was one that wasn't scared of Simone. He was telling her, like, hey, joking back with her, letting her know that he wasn't intimidated. I mean, he reminded me of that energy, that Troy gave and Wayne to Exhale, the old girl. Am I gonna have to tame you? Am I gonna have to tame you, girl? You feel that? I think he would have gave it to Simone, because Simone needs that strong energy. And I saw them two getting together, because people like that clash at the beginning end up ripping each other's clothes off at the end. So Denise, oh my goodness, I said in the first one that I didn't even need to know anything about Denise, right? You remember that? Because her casting photo, she didn't smile. She was just like, it's like, really? You coming on a dating show and you're not going to smile? I peeped it before she opened her mouth. You can tell a lot about body language. You can tell a lot about energy. And I already knew from the beginning I was not going to be digging Denise. Denise seemed like, for one, let me look at my notes, because I got a lot to say about Denise. Okay. She's getting on my nerves. Okay. That's one. Two, it's kind of odd for you to put your previous experiences off on other people. Yes, we do it a lot. Somebody reminds us of somebody else. You remind me of that I once knew. Wouldn't believe all of the things can I do with my chain she put. I get it. You go through bad experiences and you compare people. I get it. But it seemed really rude that she was judging Adriana and how she was vibing with Rashid. It's like, okay, you're not vibing with him, but why are you messing it up with somebody else and they vibing with him? Like, that was really odd to me. Also, Hunty, therapy, okay, you sitting there talking about this guy. He's tall, he's light skinned, he's in a fraternity, he's just, girl, they really came off like you got some deep rooted issues. Now, I'm a dark skinned sister. There's a lot of things going on in the world when it comes to within our ethnicity of the light skin and the dark skin. A lot of the stuff we have to unlearn about each other, but we're all black. Okay. We in the community, we all need to learn each other and get rid of those things, unlearn those things that divide us, because it really seems like she has some trauma and some deep-rooted issues behind that, because you bringing that up was just, it's girl, you need to be on Iyanla. You need to be on a totally different show, because that just, your energy, it's just like something came out of you when you talk. You don't know nothing about this man, like nothing. When she met him on the other, the second episode, when she was mingling with him, he barely could get a word in, and she was looking at him like, and sipping her champagne. And I'm like, man, do they know each other? Whew. Girl, that's another show. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on about you, to the hot by the popcorn. I can go on and on about you, Miss Denise. But you got some strong forearms and you run track, and I ran track years ago, and me and you in the fight, girl, I had speed to get away, but that wouldn't happen between us. So I'm speaking because I'm on YouTube and I can say this way over here. Adriana seemed really, really cool. Like she seemed kind of like me, she's a cheerleader. I was a cheerleader too. You have those HR reactions to things. And I can really appreciate how she noticed the shade from Denise, but she ignored it because anybody else would have been like, stilettos, pumps in the club. What? Whoever, the Dallas in me would have came out. I'd have been like, what'd you say? You said, what? Say that again? And it would have been a totally different show. So cheers to you, Adriana, for taking the high road and not going there. Because clearly, Raymond, honey, this show wasn't for you. You're looking for something. I don't know what it is. Love isn't it. You gave this speech about what you're not looking for, what you want, what you're doing. I mean, you are just going to just be, I understand you want to date, you want to kick it. Okay, well do that. Why come on the show though? You wasted everybody's time. Of course, with this episode, we really didn't get to see everybody. I was really excited to see more about Edwin, more about everybody else, more about Shay, who I said was forgettable. I said unforgettable, but she's really forgettable. But of course, with production and that many people, you can't cram everybody into one episode. So I'm really excited to see more of everybody else. And I'm sure that they're saving that for the right time. It's just interesting, who we saw for this first date and chillax episode. Oh, Simone brought up a lot of stuff at one point, but she brought up a lot of valid points. She brought up that being vulnerable and being open. She has this guard up because she can't help but to be that way, because for one, she's a lawyer, she's a Black woman, she has all of these things that could harm her. But when you're coming on a show like that, you have to say to yourself, okay, there's potential of being hurt, there's potential of being embarrassed, whatever the case may be. It's time to let that guard down and just spill your guts on everything. Because as you see what happened when it was time for her to share, because she's been holding it in so long and not sharing, she just went into this whole therapy session. Well, my daddy gets this, was that, every time I gotta get it, and I gotta listen to the and it's gonna do it. She just went in, and it was just like she gave her whole life story in 2 minutes. And in order to avoid that, you have to be able to give your story and give your life in increments without being, oh my goodness, she's telling us her whole life story. Is she okay? So you saw that purge, but I really was like, okay, good, when everybody didn't say, well, dang, she said that. Like, baby girl, you can't tell me your whole situation. But I'm just happy that everybody was patient and listening to her. I also thought it was interesting about the whole David and Joy situation. I don't think he meant to put his finger in her face. That's just like a culture thing. Clearly he's country, and when you talk with your hands, some people get offended. You can't do that in New York. You can't, they take stuff literally. You know what I'm saying? They already clap their hands when they talk. So it's just certain things you can't do. And I don't think he meant anything by it, but she got offended. So, yeah, Calfani, like, I don't get the hype. Did I miss something? Did he say or do something that should be knocking me off my feet? Because I missed it. I'm not feeling the hype. I don't know why all the women are just all on Calfani like that. Like, he's just not, was it Rick Fox that walked in the room? Tell me something. Here's the thing with Rashid. Guys that come off like everything's cool, he's just like, he's just like everything's working for him. Guys usually like that are dorks. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's a frat, he deals with the luxury car. It's this energy and persona that he want. Like they said, the representative. Guys like that, usually when you get to know them, they just as square as can be. They're just as square as a Sesame Street episode, And I don't know. I love dorks, I love nerds, and I love jerks. And, so that gives pretty much a gumbo of, things I'm cool with. But it's not about me. It's about the show. But Rashid seems like he's afraid to open up, because this was a guy that was married for a very long time and just recently got divorced and has a son. So I really think he's a good guy, but he gives this, like they said, this representative thing where he's trying to be something that he's not. I feel that he's a really super cool dude. He seems like genuinely he's a really shy guy, and then when he says something, it comes off as weird. And everybody like, boy, shut up, because of the situation at the pool. Just let me know if it was me. I didn't think what he said was mean or narcissistic. When he said, okay, we're taking our shirts off, lady, y'all take y'all stuff off. Like, I didn't see anything wrong with that. And I don't see why the women got so quiet and they felt uncomfortable. I mean, you are at the pool. You there to swim. Like, come on, ladies. You there to get in the pool and have fun. What's this? I don't want to take my top off, my skirt off. Like, just say you working on that stomach, or them rolls in the back. Just be real. Oh, I'm keeping this sarong on and this t-shirt. All the rest of y'all can take out. That's why Winter was just like, I've been to the gym. I'm taking my stuff off. So I mean, I didn't see anything. Come on now. Y'all was tripping. Oh, and also Joy, girl, I love the big fro that you got. It's beautiful. But y'all in Texas, girl, I know you hot. When are we, asking for a friend, when are we gonna see you? When are we gonna see you without the fro? Because I know you can take it off. So are we gonna see your head at some point? Asking for a friend. I'm just asking. It's not me. Don't kill the messenger. Okay, it's nothing wrong with a fro, but y'all hot, y'all swimming, y'all doing all this stuff. And I mean, just a question. But that's my recap. That's my review. Those are my notes. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you think is going home. It was interesting to see how the women were behaving, knowing that they had the power to send somebody home. And it's interesting to see the energies and how people behave. It's going to be really, really interesting now that the next week the power will be in the guys' hands. And I want to see how the women react, how they behave, And I think Denise was really loving that power. She was really loving telling David to go home. Well, if the men are smart, okay? If the men have been paying attention, Denise, or either that or they just scared, honey. They afraid she might put them in a headlock. So maybe she might be there to the end because they don't want no problems. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to this family friendly page. Hit that notification bell. Follow me on Instagram at the same profile name, officialbunne_e, so you don't miss what's next. Check out those playlists. And also check out the latest videos that have been posted. A lot of those comedy skits and things like that. Breathe, everybody. This election, they taking all day like it's the NBA draft. Just come on now. Don't let me, that's a different video. Okay, I love y'all. Until next time, I'll see you next week. Peace.